Hello there, class. This is Test Prep CA6, Part 2, Question 1. What we're going to do today is we're going to do this problem, and as we do it, we're going to follow PEMDAS. Now, in case you can't remember what PEMDAS is, let me write it for you. And this here is PEMDAS. As you can see, P stands for parentheses, E stands for exponents, M and D, multiplication and division. Notice they're on the same level, so it happens whichever one comes first from left to right, and then addition and subtraction, whichever one comes first from left to right. So that's the order of operations, and that's what we're going to follow. Now, in this equation here, what we're looking at is doing the innermost parentheses first, because parentheses come first. So this is what we're going to do first. So what I'm going to do is I need to divide 5 divided by 3/4. Now, like we talked about in class, the way that we divide by a fraction is we use the keep, change, flip method. And what that is it's actually multiplying by the reciprocal. But an easy way to remember it is keep, change, flip. So we keep the 5, which is actually 5/1. We change the division to multiplication, and we flip 3/4 to 4/3. Now we can just multiply it out, and we'll end up getting 20/3. So 20/3 is what this part of the equation is equal to. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to erase that and substitute. So now I have 20/3 minus 4 in the brackets, then out here divided by 1/6, and over here. All I'm doing is just rewriting my equation, which is always a good habit to get into. So basically we've taken this right here and we've turned it into 20/3. That's what we did in the last step. Now this step, what we need to do is we still need to follow the order of operations, and as we can see, what we have is we still have PEMDAS here. So we have to do the parentheses. So inside the parentheses we have 20/3 minus 4, which is right here. Alright, so in order to do this, unfortunately, I need to get a common denominator, because 4 is actually not just 4, it's 4/1, and 20/3 minus 4/1 does not cannot be subtracted like that, because you need to have the same size pieces, which is why we need a common denominator. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to zoom out and give myself a little bit more room, and then we're going to work with that 20/3 minus 4/1. Alright, so now I've just zoomed out a little bit to give myself some room, and I'm going to do the problem over here, which is 20, let's try that again, 20/3 minus 4/1. Now, as we did earlier in the last unit, what we had was when we have different denominators, for instance 1 and 3, what we have to do is find the least common denominator that's going to work for them. So then in this case we're going to stick with 3 here, and we're going 1, 2, 3. So what we see is that 3 is the least common denominator. Sorry about that being so messy. But what do we have here is we have 3. So in order to get from 1 to 3, I need to multiply times 3. And if I multiply times 3 there, I also need to multiply times 3 on top, which is going to give me 12. So I have 12/3 and 20/3 here. So 20/3 minus 12/3 is going to equal my answer, which ends up being 8/3. And so I'm going to write that right here, even though I ended up running into this stuff here. But 8/3 is the answer of 20/3 minus 4/1, also known as 12/3. So now what I've done is I've actually completed this step in the problem. So I'm going to substitute my new answer, 8/3, for that. So this all becomes 8 over 3. So already you can see we're doing a lot of work and are able to simplify it really well. Now we have 8/3 divided by 1 over 6. On this side we have 45 minus that number. So what I'm going to do is pause it and zoom out a little bit so we can look at this more. So what is the next step in this expression? Well, what we have is we actually have two different symbols. We have a subtraction symbol and a division symbol. So the question is, which one do we do first? Well, if we follow the order of operations which we looked at earlier, then the division will come before the subtraction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 8/3 divided by 1/6. I'm going to do that over here on the side. So I have 8, let's do that again, 8/3 divided by 1/6. All right, now the 8/3 becomes, the 8/3 stays the same, we keep it. The division becomes a multiplication symbol, we change it, keep change, and we flip the 1/6, so it becomes 6 over 1. So now we have 6 times 8 is equal to 48. We have 3 times 1 is equal to 3. So now what we have to do is we actually just have to take that 48 divided by 3, and I'm going to erase some stuff so that we can do it. And we want 48 divided by 3. Well, 3 goes into 4 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. We get the 1 left over. We bring down the 8. And we get 3 and 18 6 times. So 3 times 6 is 18. And we end up with the remainder of 0. So we're done. We have 16 here as our answer. Now this 16 is basically what we get when we do 8/3 divided by 1/6. So we ended up with a total of 16. So now we have 16. We have 45 minus that 16. So 45 minus 16 is 29. So my final answer is 29. And that is how you do problem 1 on Test Prep CA6 Part 2, Question 1. Have a great one.